Bunnycast number 28, recorded on March 12th, 2010. Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Rosebud. Rosebud.
Rains.
Tom Selleck. Tom.
Seems so real to me. The sky turns so cold and black. I'm scared of what I see, but I'm not afraid no more. You vanquished my fears. You gave me a reason to laugh and stole all my tears.
Okay, greetings. Welcome to Bunnycast number 28. We have with us today me, your hostess, Dame Helen. We also have the Right Reverend Lord Sir KillerFish of the Keenfans.
Yo.
Joining us also is Squato.
Squato, say something. Squato?
For me,
Squato?
Ramjet today.
Okay, that works. And later on,
Ramjet is pleased.
after the break, we're going to be joined by Sir Zephyron the Prepared. He is busily engaged in getting his store open today, which is really, really cool. So, without further ado, or don't, or will, or how, we're stopping now, we have news, forum news. Believe it or not, guys, I have been on the forums.
Dun, dun, dun.
Recently, even.
Dun, dun, dun.
And
This man's overgasped.
I poked my head into the newbie intro forum, but one thing I noticed is there has been some interesting titles that these noobs are throwing in as, this is, hi, I'm here, and usually it shows up as a new challenger has appeared, and then followed by a shapeshifter has appeared, and then a bimbo has appeared, and I haven't been in there yet. And then we have a red shirt is beamed down. A cat girl appears. I like this. I support this movement. Let's keep this going.
Yes. We shall. And it shall grow, and it shall become covering the earth in its silliness.
Yes.
And we shall call
everyone
it
shall rejoice.
This land. Damn you, sudden but inevitable betrayal.
The watch cheer reference or brown coat reference. You be the judge.
Considering I'm a brown coat, make your guess.
Brown coats rule. Brown coat number 55. Respect.
Take my love, take my land, take me where I cannot stand.
No singing.
Again, so-
If I cannot play the ocarina, you cannot sing. That was the agreement.
I wasn't singing.
Yes, you
I
were.
was just stating.
In a musical
There
tone.
was- Yes. Which
If you
actually had
state-
rhythm.
If you state in a musical hum again, I shall break out the ocarina. We all know what will happen then.
Would you like to have a discussion with Bad Horse on that matter?
Bad horse.
What?
.horrible sing-along blog. The person in charge of the Evil League of Evil is Bad Horse.
I still haven't seen that. I know I lost some geek cred by admitting that, but I still haven't seen that. I want to see it. It's just one of those things. I just haven't seen it yet.
I have no time for your pop culture references and your lemonade and your hip displacement units.
It's not pop culture, it's geek culture. It's only online. Well, and DVD, but
Well,
that's...
it's geek pop culture. Same diff.
Yeah.
So,
Just more elitist, that's all.
in comic news, Dan is bringing silly back. Yes.
Reportedly,
Ignore me.
Okay.
ignore the man behind the curtain.
The most recent comic I actually got quite a kick out of. The Dunkles are back. Oh God, they are like my favorite minor characters in the whole series. And just absolutely hilarious. One thing I like is Elliot and Ellen's dad, Mr. Dunkel, doesn't look nearly as much of an old man as he used to with Dan's previous arts. Just throwing that out there, it makes him look a lot less kind of creepy old man from the 50s and more just this weird guy.
Women, know your place.
Bad reference.
Squato said that, everybody. I just want to point that out.
I believe that's a reference to some sort of comedy show which had a 1950s style infomercial cinema thing. Possibly.
Keep going.
I don't know.
I want to see how far you can milk this.
And
Possibly
Tiger Lee is the
with
person
the
who actually put me onto that particular reference.
Right. Right. So,
How the rest of that chin goes.
my new favorite line of all time is, and you might have to know my wife to understand why I find this so amusing, but it is now, you will have to brave the labyrinth that is Sweet Kia. Do you have an IKEA near you? You probably don't. If you don't, imagine
Yeah, I know I can.
imagine a store that sells inexpensive and relatively easy to assemble furniture. Think the Apple Store for furniture, but multiply the biggest Apple Store you've ever been in by about, I want to say 10 times, and that's how big it is. And then make it so absolutely labyrinthian that literally you have to have been to the store at least 5 times to know how to get from the entrance to the cash registers in anything less than 10 minutes. Yeah. It's a great store. It's a fantastic place to buy inexpensive stuff. That's actually really, really good. I got my current bed there. But it's a maze.
Sing.
Grace?
How?
Stop.
Bundy?
This ends. This nonsense ends.
We're talking about the Bunnycast.
You
I like
cannot
that's
stop
never
the
gonna happen.
nonsense.
You've released the
cannot
GD,
stop
you
the
know.
nonsense. Just keep going
You
on
can't stop
and
the
on
madness.
and on. You cannot stop the nonsense.
Ladies and gentlemen, KillerFish, he'll be here all week.
Indeed I shall.
Until tomorrow.
Indeed I shall.
Okay.
With this latest one, I'm just sort of looking, going, okay, where's the funny? Where's the funny? Where's the funny? Still not funny. That wasn't funny, and probably done by Family Guy when they were ripping off Futurama and The Simpsons. Like they actually outright remember. Anytime I hear about them making fun of IKEA, I always think of with Pikea from Futurama.
Enjoy your affordable Swedish crab.
I've never seen that episode. Probably
Send these
never
back
will.
for Swedish football. Swedish meatballs.
Never seen it. Probably never will. Don't care.
Don't care, not interested. Let's move on.
It's Futurama. Watch. That's all you need to say.
That's why I don't care. Wow.
Nobody cares.
We have ways of making you watch.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Well, we know what your answering machine is.
This is like the Scrubs episode. Okay, so let's move on to some miscellaneous news, and bringing it in a little bit serious for a minute here. I wanted to talk a little bit about Geert Wilders, since our show does have an international audience, and I know I have at least one of the bunnies who is interested in what's going on with this particular story. For those who are unfamiliar, and I'm just going to bring up some information on Geert Wilders directly. Geert Wilders is a politician in, in the Netherlands. He's part of what is called the Party for Freedom. It's a political party. And he started making news when he started talking about how he wanted to stop all non-European immigration into the Netherlands. And when
that crap again.
When he was asked the reasons, he cited the Islamic terrorism and the growing Islamicization of Europe, and he wanted it stopped. Now, whether you agree with this or not, that doesn't matter. The problem comes in where Mr. Wilders has been put on trial for having an opinion and stating it in public.
Okay, that doesn't sound right.
No, it's not. And he's even he's got facts and experts and testimony to back up his opinion. I mean, he's done a lot of homework. And again, whether you agree with him or not, or whether you can come up with an opposing argument or not, that doesn't mean he has to go on trial for his opinion. And
everybody has the right to make themselves look like a complete arse.
Exactly. Thank you, KillerFish. And right now, the trial is ongoing. But the interesting twist that I like about this is that he may actually wind up being, the prime minister, basically the guy who is running the parliament. And if the trial is still ongoing after he's in charge, what happens then?
Well, it wouldn't be the first time a politician's ended up in jail.
Well,
Booyah.
That's true.
I went there.
And
biting political comment there.
The thing that amuses me is that Mr. Wilders' opinions and his political party and his platform would not have gotten anywhere close to the international attention. Whether it would have gotten the same attention in the Netherlands or not, I don't know, but it would not have gotten even close to the level of international attention it has if they had just let him spout his opinion and moved on. It's the Streisand effect, ladies and gentlemen, brought into the arena of politics.
Wait, what?
Oh, good heavens. Squato, tell me you have heard of the Streisand effect.
Nope.
Oh, my. And
Although
you say you're from the internet.
I'm half distracted by MDM going, please let me on, please, 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 please. And my attitude is basically me going, no! And please do whatever you can to emphasize that no then.
So.
I think you're going to have to educate him.
Yes, we will.
Educate Squato as to what you're talking about.
In the early days of the internet, and we're talking the early 90s, there was a photographer who went up and down the coast of California, I believe it was, or maybe it was just the west coast of the United States, taking pictures of beautiful coastal properties, houses that had been built on coastlines and on cliffs and so on and so forth. And generally it was this gorgeous, beautiful photo montage.
The fact that how she wanted to have her house off the internet.
Yeah. And so she, by suing this guy, making it public, she drew a lot more attention to the fact that Barbra Streisand's house is on the internet. So everybody started looking. And she got so much more people looking at her house on the internet than she ever would have if she had just said, oh, it's a picture of my house, amongst a ton of other houses. It looks like any other of these beautiful, beautiful beachfront properties, but because she said, this is my house, a major international celebrity saying, this is my house on this guy's webpage, all of a sudden this guy gets this huge jump in traffic. He's got sales of his photo books galore. He's got tons more clients saying, take pictures of my stuff. This is what we call backfire. And that's what happened. That's what has essentially happened with Geert Wilders and his political career in the Netherlands, because these morons said, we don't like what you're saying. We're going to sue you to silence you and bring the attention of the entire world on you, because that's the smart thing to do.
Because that's what everybody else would do too.
I could almost throw in the one about the South Australian Attorney General, but because I think he's kind of been doing some things similar to that, but...
The Australian...
When hasn't an Australian politician been doing something silly and stupid?
Okay, with the one he had...
I've just insulted the whole of Australia.
What he did was, because they got the recent election coming up, he made a law, he snuck this through, which is his little trick, which is, I'm going to sneak through laws without, public debate. So obviously he's a great politician there. And his rule was, because of the fact they've got the upcoming election happening in South Australia, that anyone in South Australia who is going to discuss, and this is anything from someone that lives in South Australia to just visiting, if you're going to discuss anything related to South Australia, you had to supply your name and your postal address, or at the very least your postcode, to any statements that you would be attributed to you. This is online.
Okay, so if anybody who was in South Australia or visiting South Australia went online and typed South Australia sucks, they'd have to type down their name and also their address.
Yeah.
I presume.
Yeah. Because you're not anonymous. If you're doing it anonymously, therefore you're not doing it properly. You're possibly doing it illegally. Because how else would you do it? In fact, the thing is, people have actually said comments like, "Yeah, the Attorney General of South Australia is an idiot," and Michael Atkinson. Thank you, just remember the name. Yeah, they said Michael Atkinson, the South Australian Attorney General. So people knew. Yeah, they're talking about that person. They've gone, this guy is an idiot. Guess what? He sued them.
Okay.
Right. Common sense once again showing not in politics.
Michael Atkinson, that's his name, right?
Yes.
Michael Atkinson is an idiot. You can reach me at Christopher J. McFarland. Mailing address is in the United States. 2260 El Cajon Boulevard, number 207, San Diego, California. Zip code is 92104.
Are you going to leave a phone number so we can do a rebuttal of it?
Nah.
You know what? It'd just be better just to slip a little letter under his letter, or saying, "Can I have 18 plus rating, please?"
ICANN has 18 plus rating.
And by door we mean his office. Not by door, he means to imply his large mansion, which is surrounded by guard dogs and has got a 50-foot separation between his 8-foot wall and the front door.
No, I reckon I can make that. Doesn't sound like too much of a challenge. Give me the envelope, I'll have a go.
Because it's so bad, he gets spam at 2 a.m. in the morning. I'm thinking, this is another point he said, my game is a problem. He gets spam at 2 a.m. in the morning and be like, who doesn't get spam at 2 a.m. in the morning?
Spam doesn't sleep, you moron.
It's worse that he actually knows he gets spam at 2 a.m. in the morning because he has to wake up and make sure that he doesn't get it.
This guy has had to have been beaten with a stupid stick at some point.
No, I don't think it's just a stick. I think he was beaten by the entire tree.
Well, this is, you know what? This is that perfect point to actually use that quote which I gave you before, Homer, the one where he how he felt about how dangerous gamers were.
Oh, no, yeah, I saw the video clip. It's moron. Okay, so at this point, I'm not sure that he was necessarily beaten with a stupid stick or necessarily even the whole tree. I think I'm starting to suspect strongly that he actually took running charges head first into the stupid tree, and when it didn't work the first time, he did it again. Again, that is Christopher James McFarland. You can mail me in the United States at 2260 El Cajon Boulevard, number 207, San Diego, California. Zip code is 92104. Thank you.
And yes, you can find me in New South Wales, so therefore I'm in the same country, and I'm actually in the phone book, so there's half your work done for you.
I'm hidden underground in a little lair I've built.
He's a mole man. We all know that.
I'm a mole man.
So I'm going to introduce a new law of the internet. It's called Squato's Corollary. It's a corollary of Godwin's Law. Whereas Godwin's Law is any conversation on the internet will eventually involve Hitler or the Nazis. Squato's corollary is that any conversation on the Bunnycast is eventually going to involve Australian censorship.
The thing is, why it's funny is there's pretty much everything you could think of has actually been, in some way, been attributed as a wrong thing that's been censored. Like, for instance, that game Mark Echo from a couple of years ago, that got banned because it causes people criminal behaviour.
Yes, a video
Anyone
game
actually
causes people to be violent.
For the record, this game is about you play as a graffiti artist who lives in a society that's basically fascist takeover of America, and he's using graffiti to subvert what's the police state, which is in control.
It sounds like Jet Set Radio Future.
Because graffiti is such an effective way of undermining the establishment.
Yeah, but people took more notice when they went, oh, this game, it was actually allowed in Australia for sale, but then the Brisbane City Council's, the mayor, and particularly the mayor of Brisbane City, said this game is wrong because it teaches Australians bad behaviour, and therefore this game has to be banned. Sent the application for it to be banned to the Australian citizenship, the council on that. What is it? The review board for the censorship board, and which is basically a court, and they went, oh yeah, we can see there is grounds for this, and they just banned the game outright, which was smart.
Silliness.
Anyway, recently there was a good saying how the impact of censorship was a very interesting discussion, even on the TV show Hungry Beast, about censorship of soft porn magazines and how that's actually causing a rise in a very particular type of cosmetic surgery. And this is a cosmetic surgery which didn't actually appear beforehand.
What's that?
Lipoplasty.
Who?
You can edit. This one you can edit around if you don't want to air it, but basically it's, with the vagina, the mouth of the vagina. What's happening is you're getting a lot of women that they're getting their that area of their body, they're having plastic surgery there to have it conform to a more classic idea of a shape. But
oh my God! Oh my God! Oh, good Lord! We have women's rights organizations fighting to end genitalia mutilation in third world countries, and oh my God! And this is not even getting into any of the discussions about the long-term health impacts and the fact that more likely they're going to suffer from less sexual performance in that area. Very well-known facts.
Thus, once again, proving that common sense isn't as common as people like to think it is.
For the record, this is not a proven point, but the point that they were making on the show Hungry Beast is that there is a correlation, because the reason why this is appearing is because the doctors are saying there's been a big increase in this type of surgery, and they're all saying it's because they don't feel that they look like what the people what it's meant to look like. And the best one that they get the example from is pretty much the soft porn magazines, and the soft porn magazines make all of those. When they have to cover those areas in certain styles under Australian law, they say they have to do it because that's the only way that they can under the interpretation of the law in regards to censorship, so they can actually show a naked female body. And the censorship board, and the only reason why they do that is because the censorship board says this is what it has to be. Well, it's not actually said that, but that's the interpretation of how they say it is meant to be. The censorship board says, oh, we allow people to do it to show as much as they want and to show it as freely as they want. These are just people just editing it for commercial reasons. Yet it's been pretty much well proven that they will argue that anything other than the so-called classic image, which is it doesn't actually show anything, it's closed mouth or that type of thing, it's all smooth. Anything that's outside that is considered porn.
You cannot
Granted, we're talking at Granted, what we're talking about is MA15 plus, and by that I mean the more extreme version of MA15 plus, but still.
These people are... Okay, so let's move on to yet another bit of moronity. Okay, since you're unlikely to have heard about this outside of the United States, New York City has passed a law which...
Censorship?
Not quite, but it's very close. It's very close. Basically, it's the government coming in and saying, I know better than you. You will do this. And it's for your own good. A restaurant...
How does it not surprise me for the city which Rudy Giuliani once was the mayor of? Oh, wait, we can't say anything bad about him.
I'm going to read the text of Bill A10129. No owner... Okay, I'm going to read the text, and if you didn't get it, I'm going to translate. No owner or operator of a restaurant in this state shall use salt in any form in the preparation of any food for consumption by consumers of such restaurant, including food prepared to be consumed on the premises of such restaurant or off of such premises.
Ah!
If you didn't catch that, salt is now banned in New York, apparently the state, in restaurants. Salt.
That's stupidity. Complete stupidity.
You know what? I just have this image of they have police officers at sea going, signs going, move away from here, sir, move away, talking to salt.
I've just got this image of prohibition, of these policemen in prohibition running into places and kicking down barrels of salt.
It's
so you're
salt.
saying there's going to be salt easies, not speakeasies?
Yeah, salt easies.
It's salt imported. Canada. Sea
Canadian.
salt. Oh, this is bad.
Canadian sea salt, eh? I want you to run up
this
and
is-
get me some.
This is just as bad as with the when it comes to that decision by the Australian militaries or the DMO, the people that pay for things with whatever the Australian military uses, when they decided that they wanted to have a new shoe for the new Navy, the new cams that you use with the new Navy uniform, which, funny enough, doesn't like sea salt, and it's designed to be worn at sea.
Is there anything that the Australians do well in politics?
Oh, we do a
I'm
lot of
just
good things well.
curious.
But where I work, it's just something that I've known it's come up a bit, and it's just so stupid. It's not funny. At the moment, we've been officially told, yes, it's a known issue with the shoes.
Sorry. It's a known issue that the shoes, which are designed to be worn at sea, can't take sea salt.
Yeah. This is what's called going for the lowest bidder.
Acme Fire Supply Company would like to apologize and issue a recall for the Acme Fireproof vest that we have been selling to many of our firefighters across the country. The recall is due to the following reasons. Now, fireproof vest will spontaneously burst into flames.
I just need to find a nearby wall or something so I can just repeatedly strike my head at it until everything makes sense in the world of politics.
Okay.
Okay, in that case, break time for craziness to take place. 5 minutes later, KillerFish comes back.
Squato,
In that case, it's not my turn to change his diapers.
Squato, tell us about Moon.
Okay, Moon. Sorry. Moon, it's a movie, and what I will define as very simply the movie everyone should have watched last year. And I'll put it to this, why I say it's a very good film and why everyone should have seen it. You know why everyone sort of raves about how, Avatar's all this, Avatar's that? This is pretty much the anti-Avatar, and particularly in one point, it actually has a competent story, and it's good. I knew you'd like that one.
Words.
Okay, explain this, because I've read the spoilers. I know what you're talking about, but explain the movie for those who have not.
I'll give you basically what happens in the first 15 minutes, which is pretty much what's shown in the trailer anyway. And basically it's about a guy played by, what's his name? Sam Rockwell. I forgot his name of his character. Sorry, I don't actually have the DVD with me, and I'm not sticking it out over my chair to find it. He's working on the moon. For a corporation called Lunar Industries, who are now doing the big thing that in energy which the world needs. It's the helium-free substance, which, for those people who are not aware, is actually a very real substance, and is something that scientists are very interested in looking into, because it's a very good chance that it could help power the next generation or future generations of reactors and things like that. Basically, it's meant to be the one clean energy source that, if we can get it, that can work. One problem: only place with quantities is on the moon, and there's that small issue of getting there. So the whole point is that in the future they've set up the colony on the moon, and he is working there on that station, mining it, looking after the miners as they go and do they collect the helium free, which he then puts into the shuttles and sends back to Earth. The thing is, he's the only person there, and he's on a 3-year stretch. So he's looking after this base by himself, no contact, and at most he's not even getting any contact from the satellites, so he has to wait till communication comes from Jupiter to hear anything from Earth. There's just a massive time delay for him, but he enjoys his job, he enjoys what he does, and there is even though there is a mild case of insanity developing into him, because of the fact that his only companionship is his computer, which is known as Getty, played by Kevin Spacey. So brilliantly played by Kevin Spacey. In fact, this robot, the computer, all he is just a semi-robot that sort of, it actually does have an arm on it, and it's on a tread which moves around the roof and follows him around the station, does things by itself, and it has its smiley face emoticon.
Yeah,
So,
I think I remember seeing that in the trailers.
Yeah, so this is really great when they do have him doing something, if he's saying, oh, yes, I'm being happy with what you mean. You can actually tell he's being happy. It's so simple, it's so effective how they do that. But yeah, so he's by himself, and then something happens. That something happens is that one of the miners breaks down, and he has to go out to fix it. One problem: he finds a copy of himself.
That's weird.
That's pretty much the first 15 minutes, and this film goes for over 2 hours. And if someone goes, oh, that's spoilers, we've said with spoiler warners in the past, which is we don't give a shit about them. But in this case, I haven't actually said a damn thing. There's a lot going on. It's behind the scenes, there's things, and there is more than a few surprises in what happens. It's a story alone, it's damn good. Performance-wise, this is the thing. The amount of people that are actually in this film is Sam Rockwell, and that's basically it, other than when Kevin Spacey's computer can be seen moving around. The only character interactions are between basically Sam Rockwell and himself.
Well, that's one way of getting out having to pay people to actually star in your movies.
Actually, that's not because of the fact that they're trying to be cheap, and it's just simply for the fact that the whole idea is that this guy is by himself. It's this sense of loneliness. In fact, when he even finds that he's cloning himself, half the time he's trying to even debate if it's even real, if it's just him being so insane that he's imagining himself being there. Even
that
when he actually...
happens to me a lot. More than I'd like to actually admit.
But yeah, so he's just the performance of, like, as I said, it's a really great performance from Sam Rockwell. In fact, as I said, he pulls this entire movie together with it, and he's just himself playing against himself for most of it. There is the odd thing that happens with other characters, like, for instance, flashbacks or the odd video call from other characters, but you never see them directly in there, and none of them actually interact with him. So it's, as I said, pretty much him pulling it. It's, as even I09 says his performance is so good, you really could have seen that being an Oscar-winning performance, except for the fact that, the Oscars don't like sci-fi.
Unless it's by a liberal who's pushing the "Earth is your friend and humans are bad" motif, which, hey, it sounds like Avatar.
It was District 9, but District 9 was being... apartheid was not good for South Africa, amongst other things.
Yeah,
and did that so well.
District 9 wasn't necessarily about humans are all bad. It was humans have bad in them, and so do aliens. And it was a very rock solid exploration of the whole apartheid system, which it put in a way that allows people to see, oh, hey, this is what apartheid was, huh? I didn't know that.
Yeah, because a lot of people forget what apartheid was because it's been gone for so long. It's like, when they hear apartheid being bad, it's like, oh, it's a race thing. Yeah, I get it. You don't need to say it was bad. No, you actually do need to know how bad it was.
Yeah, and yeah. So
that was one of the few movies that actually made me sit up and think for a couple of minutes.
Well, and that's the thing that's upsetting a lot of people who like sci-fi is this was a big deal. This was something that should have gotten a lot more attention and press than it ever did.
But it didn't.
But it didn't. It was sad how little
it's the same with
attention it got.
Yeah, it's the same with Moon. Because Moon itself, it's really got no attention. In fact, the film actually made it didn't break its budget when it was released in the US. Partly because it was shown in less than 100 cinemas. But that still is an interesting point considering the fact that its entire budget, and this is why I made the Avatar point before. What was the budget for Avatar?
Something stupid. And let me look.
$45 billion.
I think it was over $500 million or something like that.
I was close.
Let's see. Avatar was officially budgeted at $237 million. Other estimates could put the cost between $280 million and $310 million for production and $150 million for promotion.
So call it $500 million.
Yeah.
Budget for Moon? $4 million.
That's quite a difference.
Oh, yes. And considering that Moon actually has story and plot.
Blasphemy. Movies shouldn't have story or plot. That doesn't make sense.
The other thing is,
go to the movie cinemas to be entertained by story or plot.
The other thing is that even though it's got such a small budget, you really can't tell it's a small budget film. And I should point out the director is actually quite skillful, but that's part of the thing. Is the guy, he's known by the name Duncan Jones. He's best known as another particular part of his name, which is what he's changed it from, which was he's the son of David Bowie. That alone should be enough to sell people.
David Bowie.
That alone should be enough. But that fact alone should be enough to make people that have any Greek cred go and take a look at that damn movie. But he does such a great job with it. He's actually a very skilled director. In fact, this type of film was actually him doing homages to some of his other the things that influenced him. Aliens, for one. You clearly can see the influence of Aliens amongst those other types of films in there. In fact, he outright says in the DVD how it came out. And his next film, which is set in Berlin in the same universe in around the 2040s, this one's very Blade Runner inspired. So this guy's he's got great world building, great eye for art and how he shows it. And the thing is, he doesn't, like in District 9, he doesn't do it for a huge budget. He can do it on a small budget.
Mm-hmm. That reminds me of a movie I've seen recently that also I didn't actually see in cinemas or anything. I just caught it on DVD and I thought, I haven't seen that. I think it's called Outlander. It's basically a sci-fi.
Yeah. Oh, is that the one with Sean Connery?
What? No.
No. It's a sci-fi about Vikings. Yes. Somebody from space comes to Earth.
Would you like to know more?
The Vikings. Yes. And it's basically this huge dragon hunt, only it's not a dragon, it's an alien space creature.
Of course.
It looks really interesting. When I first heard about it, I'm like, oh, this is cheesy. But then my wife and I happened to catch a trailer on another DVD that we were watching, and it really, really looks interesting. I've already put it on my Netflix queue, and we're going to be watching it soon.
That's Outlander?
I'd heartily recommend Outlander. If you ever get a chance to watch it, go do so. It's pretty much in the same category of films which didn't get a lot of press, but do have a genuine seed of a real good movie there with a good plot and a good cast of people playing it who you don't normally see.
Okay, so we're coming up on the break, but I wanted to cover one more news story, miscellaneous news story.
Oh, well, actually, there was one other thing I should say with Moon. Sorry.
One more thing. Go on.
One more thing.
The thing with Moon is one of the things that they did that's very interesting is how they kept the budget low is when you see a lot of the stuff moving around, you think, oh, well, that's good CGI. Turns out there's no CGI in them. Well, there's some CGI, but very little of it. All that stuff that looks like CGI, they use models. Those things they used to use in films.
Which actually look a lot more realistic than most modern CGI for some bizarre reason.
Yeah. Yeah, they use actual models with person driving them.
Yeah,
and it looks... When I found that out, it's like, wow, that's amazing. And it actually does look so much better than what you would see with CGI. It just shows how much clever you can be if you really want to be making something.
Okay, so...
It forces them to play with their limitations as opposed to think that you can just cover it up with more bloom effect.
Yeah. Is that a reference to another science fiction movie? Okay, so before we hit the break...
We make everything brown. That just makes it all beautiful.
Brown and hazy.
For those of you who are not on the Twitterverse...
Fail whale is coming.
Yes, many times. Conan O'Brien, American late-night television show host, also one of the focuses of the recent debacle at the American television network, NBC, has started doing some stuff on Twitter. In one of his very first posts, I think it was like post number 5, he said, you know what, I'm going to pick a Twitter follower or a Twitter person at random to follow, and he actually gives the name of the person, like Lisa Fellows or whatever her name is. Your life is about to change, and she's the only person in his list of people he's following. And like overnight, she got 11,000 people following her. Well, when news of this hit the general public, and This Week in Tech, of course, it's Twitter, it's a technology news story, so they said, hey, let's do this ourselves. And so one of the guys on the air just did a search on Twitter for I hate computers, or it was I hate technology. And one of the first that came up was a user by the name of Lisa Tickled Pink. And here we go, perfect. It's exactly like the lady Conan O'Brien followed. Very new user. This was her second tweet saying that she hates technology. She's only got 3 followers. Let's follow her. And again, overnight, 14,000 followers.
Oof.
Wait, they apparently have more geek pool than Conan O'Brien?
Oh, yeah.
But Conan O'Brien worked for The Simpsons.
Well, Conan O'Brien appeals more to the mainstream, whereas the Twit networks appeal to a lot of people. Now, here's one thing that may have indeed impacted the number of people following Lisa Tickled Pink. As a way of encouraging people to sign up, and as a way of apologizing to Lisa Tickled Pink, Leo Laporte, the host of the Twit networks, is giving Lisa and one random follower on her follower list an iPad when they come out. So, yeah.
Hey, do you think we could get Conan O'Brien to mention the Bunnycast and then get most of the people to listen to us?
Well, he's doing nothing. I can always try inviting him onto the damn show.
That'd be cool, actually. That'd be really cool.
Actually, he's doing it at the moment. Apparently, a tour called the things we're not allowed to discuss on TV for legal. Sorry, yeah, things we're not allowed to put on TV for legal reasons. Comedy show.
That's cool. Yeah. Okay, so we are at the break. So.
But actually, you know what? I should. Just because he's like, yeah, you're unemployed. You got nothing to do. Want to be on a Bunnycast?
Okay, so we're at the break. So I'll see you hopefully Sir Zephyr on the prepared when we come back.